Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Sakshi. Good afternoon, all. Let us start today's session on deep learning. Okay, in today's class, we will discuss about the introduction part of object detection. So before start of object detection, what has been done till now? We have done a sort of object classification or image classification. And in image classification, we have seen we can perform the two types of classification. One is binary classification, where we are able to categorize given object, given image into one of the two classes. Okay. Whereas in multi-class classification, we can have more than one categories in case we need to classify in more than one categories. That example belongs to multi-class classification, right? So we have already discussed image classification and how do we achieve image classification. We have also seen in the practical class, right? So let us move ahead towards detection. Before going for object detection, we need to understand some more terms. Let us try to understand what is object localization. Given the image, if the image, in the image, if I need to perform the classification, what we have done till now is classification. So if I train multiple inputs, if I train the model with multiple inputs of the classes that I want to classify, for example, suppose I want to classify, given any image, I want to classify whether that particular image has girl or boy, okay, whether it belongs to girl's image or boy image. So in that particular case, what I need to do is I need to, we do go for supervised classification. What we mean by supervised classification, where in training phase we are giving the image input, along with the input image, what and all I will give, I will also provide the label. Okay, xi I will give, and I will also have the yi, associated yi with me, so that when my model gives the prediction, and if the predicted value is very far off from the ground truth value, then what we need to do is we need to back propagate the error. If the loss is high, too high, then I need to back propagate through the network. That error need to be back propagated towards the network, right? So that to improve the I need to, in order to reduce the loss, we need to back propagate the error. This is what we have seen. And what we mean by supervised classification, every xi during training, every xi we do provide the yi, that is the ground truth of the image, so that ground truth of the image will be compared with the predicted value, and then the error will be computed. Okay, this is known as supervised classification, where I know in hand, I know my during training, I know the training examples along with their labels, right? And how do we provide the labels? Either label in the data set, it will be provided, or if you are creating the data set by yourself, then you need to provide the label. Okay, with each xi you need to have associated yi with it, right? This is what we have done till now, that is with respect to object classification, image classification, right? Now we need to deal with object localization. What is object localization? Suppose we do have an image, right? And if I say, if my model predicts the output as girl, then that example belongs to image classification, because it is simply saying that this image has a girl, right? But what I want to do is I want to localize where this particular girl's image in its particular whole image, right? So I want to answer where is my object. Fine. So I need to provide the localization details. I need to answer in terms of where. Correct. So it can be answered with the help of bounding boxes. Correct. So till now, for during training, what we need to do is we used to give the xi, that are different examples of xi, along with its corresponding labels yi, right? With labels, simple labels, right? For this example, it is girl. For some other example, the label may be different depending on the class that I want to categorize. This particular image I want to categorize into to girl. Okay. Now we need to have the xi will remain as it is. Okay. That means xi will be my input image. Along with that, I will also give some other details, that is bounding box details. Okay. I will I will also tell where is my object located inside the image, right? So if we are able to tell where is my object provided in the image, then we say this example will belong to object localization along with my classification. We are giving classification as well as we are localizing our object. For example, given the image, my model, I also expect what should be the output at the test side. Whenever I give the input, okay, as an image, my model should predict and it should give the output y. Okay, and usually my output y used to have this image class. Okay, that is girl. But now, apart from this image class should be there, girl should be there. But apart from this, we also should have some bounding box parameters. Okay, what are those? Bx, by, bh, and bw. Bx and by are midpoint of our bounding box. Okay, whereas bh and bw are height and width of the bounding box. Let us try to understand. Given the image, given this particular image, okay, let us try to understand how do we compute the bounding box parameters. Because this is an image and my interested object is there, and I have simply given the bounding box around my object, right? So here my object, my image location, this is the origin. Okay, so I do have notation 0 0, 0 for x and 0 for y. Okay, I start with this origin and I end up at this location, that is 1 1. Right now, how do we compute those four bounding box parameters: bx, by, bz, bh, and bw? Okay, so this is nothing but my uh, midpoint of the object. Okay, this is the bounding box, and this particular point, roughly I have estimated this is the midpoint of this particular bounding box, right? So this information will give me bx and by. Okay, bx is nothing but from this position to this position, whereas by is the from this particular from origin to this particular location, right? X, along with x I do have bx, and along with y I do compute by. So bx and by are midpoints of this particular object. Okay, similarly, this is my width of my bounding box, and similarly the other parameter, this gives me height of my bounding box. Correct? So now with these we can have these labels, parameter values. Okay, bx is zero point 0.5 because roughly it is at the middle. Okay, so if I start from this position and if I take up to this, so it gives me approximately 0.5, so I've written here as 0.5, whereas by is again when you see y axis, so it is somewhere over here. So this gives me midpoint, so it gives me 0.5 again. Height, suppose this is my height of the object, and height of the object, if I compare with my full object height, then it is nothing but my it comes out to be somewhere 0.2. Okay, roughly I have estimated it as this as 0.2, and this may be 0.4, and below this the height, if I estimate, it comes out to be 0.4. So height of this bounding box is 0.2, and width of the bounding box comes out to be 0.4. Okay, so now, so given any object like this, one should be able to compute the bounding boxes. One should be able to label the object, as well as after giving the labeling, we also should give the bounding box parameter values. Definitely, there are many like open source softwares which are available, and which you may use those for finding out the bounding box parameters given the reference image, and given when you localize, or when you provide the bounding boxes, when you draw the bounding boxes around your desired object, then those then you may be able to extract these particular values. No need to hand code them. Okay, there are many softwares you can use them, and to get these bounding box parameters. Now, suppose I want to have different detections. Okay, detections again in case of binary classification. Okay, or in case where I have two classes. So suppose my example belongs to class 1. So in that case, what I will be doing is I will be having so many. This is my y. Okay, this is my output, what I expect when my class is class 1. Okay, when the image has is belongs to class 1 category, this is what I expect my output to be. Okay, what are those? Let's see them one by one. All the parameters we will see. The first parameter gives me the tells me whether the given class exists. Okay, given object exists in the image or not. If it is 1, that means my image, input image, has one of the desired object. Okay, if it is 1, then my output, my input has one of the desired object in my image. Fine. Suppose I gave the input, and that input has class 1 object in it. Okay, so in that case, one will give me just giving us the information that class 1 exists in this particular input image. Okay, category 1 object exists in this particular given input image, hence 1. Bx, By, Bh and Bw, these are midpoint along x and y axis, and this is height and width of the bounding box with reference to reference image, right? And class 1, because this example, whatever input that we have provided, it belongs to class 1, hence it is 1. And here definitely it should belong to one. Any input should belong to one of these category, right? So I have named them as 1 and 0. That means my input for, well, this is the output, but corresponding input has first object in it, that is class 1 object in it, hence 1. Similarly, if I give the input where my in that particular input, I say that input has, suppose input has class 2 object in it. So in that case, all the parameters will remain same, or first 5 parameters will remain same, only these two values will change. That means, because right now we have considered that input belongs to class 2 category. Hence, this should go to 0 and this should come back to 1. This becomes 1, this becomes 0, like this. Okay, this is the case where we are discussing that we may have classes, we may need to perform the detection in case of two categories, two classes. So in that case, either my output should look like this or it will look like this, provided input has any one of the class in it. That means my input has either the class 1 category in it or class 2 category in it. If it has class 1 category, it should output like this. If it has class 2 category, it will output like this. Okay. Now let us try to discuss about intersection over union. So before this, before moving to this is the evaluation parameter for the object detection. Okay. Before moving this, let us try to understand what is object. Till now, what I explained is object localization. Okay. What is object detection? Object detection is, suppose I have multiple objects, okay, and those objects belong to the same category or they may be different category. Okay, suppose I want to I have a problem statement. In my problem statement, I just wanted to classify or I want to detect whether cat present in the image, whether dog present in the image, or whether both objects present in the image. So in that case, if I say only one, if I provide an image and in that particular image only one object exists, okay, and if I provide the bounding box for that particular object, that problem belongs to localization. Whereas if we have multiple classes and I want to localize all of them, I want to detect all of them. So in that case, that particular problem will belong to the object detection problem. Okay, in object detection, we are doing the localization only, but for multiple instances or multiple objects. And multiple objects can have same instances, or multiple objects can have different instances, right? So that is the difference, right? Now let us try to understand the evaluation parameters for this case, that is intersection over union. Okay, suppose I have my ground truth. Ground truth, we all know that this is my y bounding box. I do have ground truth bounding box. This is what whenever I provide the input, okay, whenever I provide, so my input has ground truth bounding box with it. Okay, so I have just drawn that particular bounding box with the bounding box parameters. I've drawn the bounding box. Okay, and this is what my model has predicted it. Okay, this is also bounding box, but for the given input image, it has given the bounding box like this. Okay, so I can say this is my y, whereas this is my y hat, right? So now, how do I evaluate the output or outcome of my bounding box, predicted bounding box? So it can be evaluated with this particular parameter, or you can say with this particular metric, evaluation metric. The evaluation metric is known as intersection over union. Okay, how do we compute that? Given ground truth and the predicted one, I will see I will first compute the this union. Okay, this line which I have drawn over the entire image of on this box as well as on this particular box is nothing but my union. Okay, and this is my intersection, this particular region where overlapping occurs. Okay, overlapping of my ground truth over my predicted ground predicted result. Okay, so this particular box, the box which is represented with green, filled with green color, is representing the intersection. So the IOU can be computed with intersection over the union. Okay, now I see whenever I do have I do get the also always have the ground truth with me, and whenever I get the predicted result, so what I will do is I simply compute this IOU, and based on this IOU value I can say IOU is correct. That means whatever my prediction has been done is correct. If my IOU comes out to be greater than 0.5, it is acting as a threshold value now. Okay, so if IOU is 1, that means my ground truth, my predicted result has completely overlapped on my ground truth. That means my predicted result is same as my ground truth. So in that case only we know that I'm going to get IOU value as 1. But anything above 0.5, most authors, they do consider threshold as 0.5, and if it is above 0.5, we do say that the result is the outcome is good. Okay, now let us see the next one, that is anchor box. Okay, again, this is one of the keyword that most authors, they do use while dealing and this object detection, right? So let us try to understand what we mean by anchor box, or with respect to detection. So anchor box, we do have whenever we need to detect multiple objects in a given image. Okay, and again, with respect to that, what we have is we do draw different, let me show you. Okay, suppose we do have multiple suppose this is the image, and I divide the image in different grids. Okay, I will be dividing into different grids. Once we divide the image into different grids, later on what I will do is I will see, suppose this particular grid has more than one object. Suppose it has two objects in it. Okay, one object bounding box is this, and second object bounding box maybe like this. Okay, this is the first bounding box object. Whereas this is the second bounding box object. Okay, so in other grids of the image, we don't have any object associated with it. Okay, so my the ground truth um, label will have 0, and rest all parameter values will be don't care values. For this grid cell, it will be 0, and rest all will be rest all of the parameter value will be 0, sorry, don't care, and label for this will be 0, and rest. Why 0, why not 1? Because this particular grid don't have any object in it. Similarly, it applies to all these surrounding cells, grid cells. Whereas for this particular grid cell, the middle grid cell, it will have two anchor boxes. Okay, instead of one bonding box, here in this case, we will be having two different anchor box. And what, how my how my Y will look like? My Y will look like, suppose for this particular given grid cell, I have the first one as 1, and I will be providing bx, by, bh and bw. Okay, and later on, and I do say we do have, suppose I have 2 different classes. Okay, I do have 2 different classes, and I want to predict whether I want to detect the 2 classes in the given image. Okay, so this will be 1 and this will be 0. Next one is 1, bx, by, bh and bw, and this time the because this information was for the first box. Okay, this information was for the first box, and this information is for this, and I know this is second. For the second object I have drawn the bounding box, right? So what it should be 0 and it should be 1. So my y looks like this. So instead of these values in the previous slides, where we were having only one object, but I wanted to localize that particular object, that's it. But here in this example, I want to detect both the objects, right? So in that case, what I need to do is I need to have y like this, right? Array of uh, detections, object detections, array of object detection, because I do have more than, like, if you count, 7 parameters for the first object detection and rest 7 parameters for the second object detection. Okay, like this we can have different anchor boxes depending on our own requirement, right? These are the different references that I have referred for today's session. So maybe in tomorrow's session, we will discuss one algorithm for object detection in detail. Okay, that is a YOLO algorithm. With this, I will stop today's session. Sakshi,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm done with today's session. If any queries, I
Okay.
may take.
So is there anyone having any doubt? Any doubt in today's session? Because object detection is a new topic and that will be useful for you if you are going in this deep learning thing. So if you have any doubt, you can clear that now.
Okay, that we will discuss. Okay, with the applications, and before that, let us complete the algorithm, and later on we will discuss in detail the drawbacks of the with the data set. Okay, how do we have the good data set? We will have one session maybe at the end, maybe on 21st. Okay, how do we have good data set?
Anyone else? I don't think there are more doubts then.
Okay, Sakshi,
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I have pasted the attendance link in the chat window. Kindly check that and fill your attendance on time. It will be available for the next 10 minutes. So complete it on time, otherwise it will be disabled. Thank you.
Excuse me, I cannot see anything in the chat.
Just check it, transcript. I have uploaded it at 4. I'll again enter that. Now check it.
even when I wrote, nothing came on the chat because I wrote a couple of times and it's not showing anything. It's like blank.
Even now it is not there?
No. Okay, someone posted in the chat, in the WhatsApp. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.